Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Crazy Bees. It is Sunday. It is a glorious day. I have the day off finally in probably about 3 weeks, so I'm so excited to be able to get to share the day with you guys today and take you along as we're doing different projects in the yard. But we are going to start this morning with a nutritious breakfast. So I'm gonna make a frittata this morning because my chickens have been laying eggs like crazy, which is awesome. So I wanted to use up some of those. So I am going to make a frittata, and I've got sausage here that I totally have browned up, and I have it off of the burner. And I'm telling you, I'm using a copper pan, and I went to do this and it just went woof because it's coated, so there's no sticking in this pan. So I had sausage going everywhere. So if you see any little messes, it's because I have sausage and it's too hot right now for me to clean up. Then we're going to take our eggs, which I have 12 eggs here with a little bit of milk. I'm going to add a little bit of salt, and some pepper, and we're going to mix that up. And the reason I want my sausage to cool a little bit before I add it to this mixture is I don't want my eggs to start to cook. So we're going to do this, and then I'll show you what I've got in the oven that we're also going to add to it, which is just going to make it so flavorful. We've already made a trip to Home Depot this morning, so I am starving. It is 8:42. We went to Home Depot this morning and bought some herbs and some flowers, and I'll show you why and what we're going to be doing with those. Okay, we got our eggs all mixed up with our milk. Now I'm going to take you over. I'm just going to carry you right over here on the tripod. Oh, look at that. You can see in there. I'm going to stir this. In there we have some green pepper, some red pepper, some onions, and some broccoli. I have it on parchment. The broccoli was frozen. My onions were frozen. Those were the onions that we did in our previous video. And the red and green pepper were fresh. And right now I don't have peppers in my garden, so they did come from the grocery store, which there's nothing wrong with that. You can't grow everything. So there's still a lot of moisture in here. So I'll probably be letting that go for about another 10 minutes. And after that's done and that cools for a little bit, we'll come back and we'll put it together and we'll put it in the oven. All right, everybody, here we are back in the kitchen. The sausage is done. I've mixed that already in with the eggs. And as you can see, our vegetables are nice and soft, and most of the moisture is gone out of them, which is very important. I've got the broccoli the green peppers, red and green, the onion, some garlic powder, all going into this dish. This is going to be a very full dish. Then we're going to take a spoon. We're going to mix this all together. Get that egg on all of that. Ooh, give me 1 second. Okay, I almost made a terrible mistake. I forgot my cheese. So I went to see if I had some shredded cheddar and I didn't. I didn't have a blend. I have Swiss, so we are using Swiss today. I'm gonna blend a little bit in here. Mix it in. You want everything coated. Okay, and then I'm going to take the rest of the Swiss and just kind of sprinkle it on the top. And then we're going to put this in the oven for about 20 minutes, and then we'll check on it and see how it's doing. I have the oven set at 350. When I was doing my vegetables, when I did the vegetables, I had it set at 425, and of course I put olive oil in those and mixed it really well with the olive oil so that it would roast well. Put it in there for 425 for 20-25 minutes. Like I said, you want to make sure that it's all soft and most of the water is depleted from your vegetables before you go adding it to your frittata mixture. So in about 20 minutes we'll come back and we'll check and see what that's looking like. Hey you guys, we're out in the garden and we're waiting for the vegetables to get done on the frittatas, and I was out here getting this raised bed prepped, and look at what we found. Okay you guys, we are back. Here is, I probably shouldn't have it on that so you can see better. Here's our frittata. Isn't that beautiful? I already dished up our plates, which are right here. Look at all those layers. So yummy. This is breakfast, and then we have to get outside and get to work. Okay, you guys. Whew, it is already 70 degrees. I have a feeling I'm going to have to go in and change my clothes. So, what we have going out in the garden today. That frittata was amazing, by the way. You should try it. I am taking these blocks right here. You remember when we did our raised bed? And we put the blocks right here in all the corners and in the center. We need to build it up more because some of our plants are not able to get down deep enough because the soil is too hard and too full of clay. So right now I'm prepping this for Tom. So I have to take out the brick and then remove this. I don't know if you can see it. Hold on. I have to remove this rebar that we have sticking in there, because these are 6-inch rebars posts and we need taller ones, because what we'll end up doing is having it look like that corner there. So we are doing a double layer of the bricks to give us more height. So right now we need to pull up this rebar. Let me tell you, this works on your muscles. So I just have a vice grip that I have attached to this rebar, and first I have to loosen it. So I just start twisting first to loosen it up in that hole. I get it nice and loose, and then I have to start pulling up on it. And that's why you want the vice grips, because you have to be able to turn and pull at the same time. Okay, there we go. Whew, that's a workout. And then you want to try not to get any dirt back in that hole, because what we're going to do is line it back up, put our brick back in here, okay, and then we're going to stack another brick on top. And then Tom has already pre-cut the wood, so we need to drill in that 12-foot rebar and then put the boards in. So I've already gotten this one and the 3 along that side done over there, and now I need to do this side here. And when it's done, I'm going to take you off this tripod. Okay, when it's done, it's going to look like this. And look at what we got, you guys. I'm so excited. Isn't that a great place for that to be? Can you imagine? So right here, I've planted melons all along here. I have Tigger melon, which is a small melon. I have the Nior des Carmos, rich sweetness, cucamelon, Kajari, sweet passion, and the Picasso. Now the Picasso is one that I found at the farmer's market last year, and I absolutely loved it. And it comes like white with all these speckles on it. It's amazing. I really hope we get those. Okay, and then coming out from there, Tom planted some thyme, and then we put some of last year's peppers in here out of the small pots. We're going to see how they do in the raised beds, because they were not doing well in the pots. We planted them too late in the season. They didn't have time to get going, but here we can grow them as perennials, so I'm hoping that they really take off, because these are all hot peppers all through here. So we got 1, 2, 3 of those, and then right here at the end I left this whole corner for a roselle hibiscus. And then in this pot where the roselle was last year, I planted some parsley. And then in our other pot where we had the other roselle, I planted some dill, and we have some volunteer pole beans. So I'm gonna have to leave this pot right here so it can try to climb up that trellis. So look at that. It gave it that extra depth that it needed. And we still have the poles here. So when we have to net things off to give it some shade, we'll still be able to do that. And in all of these little holes, I'll show you what we'll be putting in those the next few days. But with what we're going to be putting in there, they do well with catnip, which we put here and here, sage, which is down in here and here, and Tom placed some radishes in different areas in here. So what do you think it is? He also put some thyme in here, so it does really well with what we're going to be planting in here. Does really well with those. Let me know if you have an idea what we're going to put in here. Okay, we're back. I have the old rebar all out. I've got all the blocks stacked up, and now I have to take, see these rebar, how much taller they are than the 6-inch. So I just line that up in that hole there, and then you need a sledgehammer. And there you go. Okay, I have two more to do on that, and then I'll show you what we're gonna do next. Okay, here we are. We've got all of the beds raised up. Our next step was to start putting soil in. So on the other side, and I'm going to do it on this side too, I took my compost. It's not fully broken down, and you can see the eggshells and stuff in here. I'm going to use this as the base layer to help fill the bed. And then I'm going to come in with a mixture of raised bed mix, cocoa coir, worm castings, and steer manure, and fill in this whole raised bed. Now my concern is, look at these beauties. My peas are just starting to come to life here. Now we don't have much longer before we hit the heat, and I know I'm gonna lose them because they don't like heat, but they were totally destroyed by mice when I put them in as babies, and it took them longer to get started. We've got a handful of them so far, and they're so good. Look, there's one right there. But they're just starting to produce. So my thought is I'm going to be covering the base of all of these. If I try to rip them out, I'm going to destroy them because they're a vine and they're hooked into the trellis, and it's going to totally mess them up that way anyway if I try to transplant. So what I'm going to do is end up burying the base of these stems all the way up to that second board right there. So I don't know if that's going to kill them and rot the stem, or if they're going to thrive with all the rich compost that's in here. What are your thoughts? I guess we'll have to find out, but let me know what you think. And also, these were in there, and I wasn't afraid to pull those out. This is the alyssum. So I just dug way under the root, and I got them sitting in soil right now. And this is alyssum, and I can't remember what this guy was. And then I still had a kale that I want to try to save, because I might get a few more weeks out of him yet, probably about a month. And then over here, we have several things going on right now. I'm trying to break down the cocoa coir because it comes in blocks like this. And then you have to soak it so that you can break it up to get the pith. So that's what I'm doing there. And then I'll be mixing that with the Kellogg's all natural garden soil, because that's really good for raised beds. But when I get that all mixed up and we get that in there, we'll go from there. Got the cocoa coir in here, the worm castings, the compost, the raised bed mix, and the steer manure. Now, I've already got that side done. I had to get this cocoa coir broken up. It takes a little while for it to break down and absorb all that water. So now we need to get this all mixed in.
Sorry, I didn't realize you were recording.
It's all right. Say hi to everybody.
You're still recording? Oh. Hi, everybody. Oops.
Okay, so here we go. We have this totally filled in, and you can see where we had put the stems of those peas got covered up probably by about 3 or 4 inches. So we'll have to see what happens there. Hopefully they don't get burned up, because there is some pretty rich compost in there. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Tom's already got some of the peppers on this side. And then we are going to get another green stalk to put here to match the other side. So that'll look amazing. And then over here, what we have going on is we put a 50-gallon pot here, and we put a 50-gallon pot there. I have to finish filling that one up. And then in here, we are soaking some crowns of asparagus spears. We are getting these in a little late, but they should be okay. We're soaking them in fish emulsion and some B1. This one here is a purple passion, and it only had 2 in it. And this one here is a Mary Washington, and it has 3. So these were gifted to us, and when you start with crowns, you get to have produce sooner than if you were to start from seed. So with these, we should be able to start getting some here and there like next year. But we probably won't be harvesting anything this year. So I'm gonna let these soak for a couple of hours in here, and then we're gonna put them in those pots. Now the thing with putting them in pots is they're not gonna last as long. At some point, we would have to do an in-ground bed just for the asparagus spears, and then they would last like 30 years or more in ground. But in containers, you're looking at 3 to 5 years. But I'm thinking 3 to 5 years, then you can start, babies. But for right now, where we are in our space right now, we have to do containers, as we have so many trees and other things going on. So we've got that going on. We're finishing up the raised beds. And I also bought some beautiful I need to take care of my lemongrass. I need to cut that back. I bought some beautiful dahlias. Look at those. Aren't those gorgeous? These are Kelvin Floodlight, and these are Duet. And I think they're just stunning. But I think I will soak those also and get those in the ground. There's 3 per pack in each one of these. And they grow, what did they say? Dig, drop, and done. Okay. Oh, here it is. They grow 30 to 48 inches. So they get a little bit taller. I'm not sure where I'm going to put those. The next thing I need to do is where I have these sweet peas. I'm going to start some seeds because I know that my sweet peas are not going to last that long. So I'm going to start some cucumber seeds on this side of the trellis and get those going, so that by the time the peas are done, the cucumbers will be starting to climb on the trellis. We are out in the garden where I said we were going to be planting our asparagus crowns. I still have them soaking in the water right now. I also put the dahlias in there, and I was thinking I better do some research on it to make sure I'm doing it right, because with containers, for one, they're not going to grow as long. Two, I don't want to give them a bad start by not doing it right. So they need more phosphorus. So I added bone meal to both of these pots. And as you can see, I took out a whole wheelbarrow full of dirt out of each one of these, and I will show you why. After I mix this in, I need to get the soil really wet, and then I have to make a mound. And then after I make that mound, I am going to have to put the crown over the mound, and then we'll cover it up with the rest of the dirt. Asparagus is a huge root system, and that is why it doesn't do good in containers, because the roots can get very long and very wide. So the most I should put in here is 2, but I'm going to do 3. In the other one, I'll do 2. I have 5. I'm not going to waste one, so I'd rather take my chances. If I find that the root systems are getting too large at some point, I may have to dig one of them up and put it in another pot at some point. Is it going to be what I need to feed my family? No, it will not do that, but it will give us a nice meal of asparagus occasionally, and I'm okay with that. So I'm going to get this mixed in, and then I will show you what that next step is going to look like. After doing a little bit more research on dahlias, I have decided not to put them in the same container as my asparagus. And I will show you why. Sorry, I'm trying to take my gloves off here. I'm going to put them in one of these pots. We're going to scoop them up out of here. So these right here are all little tubers, but they all come off from the same plant. So the asparagus and the dahlias have large root systems, okay? The asparagus is already going to be fighting for enough space. So I don't want to make it have to fight even harder in competition with these dahlias. Oh look, this one's even got a shoot coming out from it. But look at how big those tubers are. So if you have big root systems already that are going to be growing on the asparagus, I don't think it's a good idea. And I have a shoot coming off of that one too. right here. I don't think it's going to be a good idea to be putting the dahlias in with the asparagus. So we are going to take these dahlias. Oh, and that one's got one too. Okay. I think I got them all. And this was just a lone dahlia. So I think I'm going to try to plant that one also. If you remember, we planted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's all the asparagus there. So we planted those green beans back here in this bed with the sunflowers, and the girls got in here and just went to town on everything. So the sunflowers are still doing good, but the green beans pretty well got shot. So I think what I'm going to do is plant the dahlias back here and just have this as a raised bed flower garden. I think that's going to look really nice. And I also think I'm going to have basil coming up through here. So I'm just going to plant these. And the basis is about the same for the dahlias as it is for the asparagus. So you want to dig your hole. You know, I'm going to run and get a multi-purpose granular fertilizer real quick. I'll be right back. So we are going to dig down a little bit here. A little bit deeper than what we need to plant. Okay. And I'm going to add a granular fertilizer in here. This is Dr. Earth's Organics. I'm going to cover that up. Just mix that in a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to take this root system here. And I'm just going to plant that right here, just like that. The stalk needs to be up. Oh, you guys should hear the bees going crazy with the lemons. Okay, and then you literally just cover it up. Add a little bit more fertilizer here. Okay, let's see what all this fuss is. Do you guys see the bees in here? Buzzing, buzzing bees. Trying to get it closer right there. They're gonna get upset with me. I am going to finish planting these dahlias along here. I have 6 of them, so I'll do it about every 3 feet or so. And we should be seeing something from them in the next couple of months. Okay, so now we are going to take and build a mound Okay. Then we're gonna take this guy here and see, he's nice and pliable. We're gonna turn him upside down and shake him out really good. And then you're gonna take the center of that crown and place it in the center of the mound. Spread it out. It's gonna look like an octopus kind of sitting on a rock. And then we're gonna cover it up with all of this. And then once we get the other one in here, we're gonna take that dirt from the wheelbarrow and cover the top up. Here we have the pot with the 3 in it. See, one is right here, one is there, and one is here. And this one we already covered. We will put a layer of mulch on top of that after we water it in. I would like to take this time to recap what we actually got done today. We actually got quite a bit accomplished. I feel pretty good about what we did. So this got finished today. We put all the plants in here that we could for now. We're still waiting on the other plants to come tomorrow, and we'll show you what those were. And we did have to soak it like 3 times. We had to fill that reservoir 3 times in order to get the soil moist enough. You can see that it's got the moisture in it now, but it did take a little bit of the water going through this the first time. I'm guessing here we're gonna have to water it every day in the summer and make sure that it doesn't dry out. So we'll have to see how that goes. And then over on this other one, I've got it all covered with tulle now, but we got our cucumbers planted. And I wanted to show you real quick, the peas don't seem to be getting affected so far by getting covered up. They don't look wilty or anything like that. They actually look good. So we'll see in the days ahead here. We decided to do cucumbers on this side. So we have a garden sweet here, a green apple cucumber here, a Biet Alpha here, Muncher here. These are all slicers. I still have cucumbers that I pickled in the pantry, so we're gonna just enjoy some slicers. The China Jade here, and then I did do a chamois melon down at the end. So, and then Tom put in the rest of the hot peppers. So we're gonna see how they do in here. And then here we got the 2 asparagus plants taken care of, or pots, excuse me. One has 2 and one has 3. We did the, let me get the names of them. Kelvin Floodlight is the, oh, that doesn't belong in here. Let's see. Mary Washington was the one, because I was going to put the dahlias in there, so I have this tag for the dahlias. I have to put that in the back. That's the other dahlia. And then the purple passion. Those are the 2 different types of asparagus that we put in. And then back here, in this bed, we put the 6 dahlia plants. 3 of them were duet, which are red and white, and 3 of them are Kelvin floodlight, which are a brilliant, they look like yellow. So we will see how those start coming about. Our cherry tree is starting to get new leaves on it. It got hit pretty hard by the frost. Cherry trees, these Barbados cherry trees do not do well with cold temperatures, but it is coming back. I'm happy to see that. And isn't this stunning? That's the lemon tree. And I want to leave you with some special babies today. Going to show you the D'Angelo. Isn't that beautiful? I'm not seeing babies on this today, but I couldn't pass up showing you. And the pomegranate. Look at how beautiful that is filling in. And then we have the grapes that are doing very well along the wall. But let's go see those babies I wanted to show you. Scarlet, Scarlet. Say hello, hello. Look at this borage. It's just insane. And remember that plant that I told you I didn't know what it was? And then I thought it was a sweet pea? It's not. Look at the celery, you guys. I need to get it out from that wire, but I haven't had a chance. That's not my on my priority list. Look at the nasturtiums. Oh, and I have strawberries in here I need to get picked. They like trying to go through the wire. Okay. Look at these beautiful poppies. These are poppies. Look at that. Aren't they beautiful? Just gorgeous. And from there, here's our babies. Peaches. All over the place. We did get them thinned out. That's a very hard thing to do, but we did the right thing. We still have to thin out our apricots. We're waiting for them to get just a little bit bigger. But there's just, look at this, there's just tons of apricots. And here, look, this is so exciting. Do you guys see them all? Here, here, here. They're all over the place. Here, here. The Barbados, not the Barbados, but the plum. The burgundy plum. We thought we lost it. And it has just got all kinds of babies on it. So excited about that because we truly thought that we lost that one. And then we did lose these 2, but somehow this one on the Pluary survived. And Tom said there was a bunch of babies on here, so let's see if we can find some. To go over on this side. He's got better eyes than I do. He said there was hundreds of them on here. And when they're so tiny, I have a hard time seeing them. Let's see, is that what they are? Yep, that's them. Right there. All along that whole stem. Yep, I see them. Boy, those are tiny yet. How exciting. And more of our peaches right here. And right here, here's our apiarium. We only had one fruit on this last year, and look, it is just loaded down. Beautiful, just beautiful. And we got the lemongrass cut down here. Oh, and we have little baby pears. Look right here. Look at those. Oh, this pear is taking longer. I didn't think it was alive, but Tom kept saying, yes, it is, it is. And then he showed me today that it's starting to come to life. So I'm very happy to see that. Right here, all that. So it's coming, girls. Hey, hi, girls. The blueberries are starting to get bigger. Look at that. Look at those. Oh my goodness. So many exciting things happening in the garden. We thought we were going to lose the tipu. Look at that. We're getting green back on there. I'm so happy to see that. Because we planted that and then we got that huge frost and we thought it took it out. So the goal for next weekend on Sunday, the one day off, is trying to get this planted. Not sure if we'll get to it, but I sure am hoping we do. That's the goal. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for taking your time to spend with me today. And hopefully we have inspired you and helped you to come up with some ideas for different things that you can do in your garden. And I hope you have a wonderful week. Take care, and we'll see you soon.